So he was on a mission to get that for himself. But long story short, it never ended up being him. You can't change someone if, you can pretend to be something for X amount of time, but it doesn't always continue. When you couple that with a narcissistic personality as well, shit like that is just in the hands of the devil.
Welcome to Trujectory, the podcast committed to helping you align with who you really are, your true self. The one who is so comfortable with their uniqueness, so in love with life, and so effortlessly able to manifest everything they always dreamt of. I want this podcast to be a resource to help you jump into the driver's seat rather than continuing as a passenger in your own story. Let's understand why we choose to hold ourselves back so we can shed the lies that we've programmed into our minds. We can heal the root causes and step into the epic human that we know we can be. If you're ready to start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it. This is why I got you here.
I never drink, ever. And normally if someone's like, oh, when was the last time you drank? I'm like, 10 years ago? I don't know. Lately, I've been really getting onto the red wine. And nice. I'll buy 2 bottles, not because I plan on drinking 2 bottles. I'm just like, oh yeah. Huh. 1 bottle in, I can't help myself. I open the second bottle and I'm fucking plastered. Like, plastered.
You would be. I actually thought that was just a thing that people used to say, like wine drunk is a thing, like it's totally different, but it's fucking intense, hey, because I never used to drink. I mean, I used to drink wine when I was going through my teenage years, and that was, every time you drink, you'd be plastered. Yeah, fucking oath. There was always one in the boot, one in the back seat, one as a pillow. Like, it was always sort of...
I remember your car back then. Oh,
which one? The Mirage?
Was it white? Yeah, was it a Mirage? It was white.
Oh, there was a Mirage, and then there was... You know what?
I remember loading that car full of shit.
Seriously, so many stories just clicked in. I really want to tell you this story, but first of all, what I wanted to say is that's the hardest about podcasting for me is the intro. So we've just totally bypassed that. I fucking love it. So let's just keep going. Let's just keep rolling. By the way, this is Mel. This is the homie Mel, and I need some fucking cold air in here because I'm already burning up. Mel, you're just an enigma. Yeah, hi. Yes, you've got like so many.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I feel like I really and truly believe, and I tell people this, and not one person has agreed with me so far. Since I moved to Queensland, I am so chill. Like, I think I talk, I wouldn't say I talk slow, but to me in my brain, I talk slow.
Wait till how many, okay, this is what I want the audience to do, ready? I want the audience to count how many times Mel says, da-da-da-da-da. Because when she's in a conversation, when she's telling you something, she has so many thoughts going through her head at one moment. She wants to get them out. She wants to get to the end of the story. And so she sort of just says da-da-da-da-da instead of actually filling in what she's saying. But it always makes sense. I'm always like, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm fucking there. I'm so there.
I think it's because, like, I'm such a people person, empathetic person, all that kind of bullshit that never gets you anywhere in life. But anyway,
all that kind of fucking bullshit.
Yeah, love it. I feel bad for someone having to listen to my story, but in my head, it's like, again, I'm my biggest fan, so it's really entertaining. So you got to stand by for this conversation. You got to hear the whole story, and I didn't give you all the details, but you got to fill in the details yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling bad for who is listening to this conversation. When I'm listening, I'm like, get to the point. Like, what are you trying to say?
I totally actually get that, because I think we do have that in common. I think I've slowed down a lot as well, and this podcast has helped me to slow down a bit, because otherwise I'm like, blah, blah, blah. But I do totally feel you. Like, I talk really fucking fast sometimes, and I don't realize it until later, until I hear it back, or until, whatever. I'm just also realizing right now how much more I swear when I talk to you.
I can't not swear. Like,
I know. It's flavor. It's
I don't
splash
trust
of
people
color.
that don't swear. It's like, tell me what you want to say. I don't want to be friends with someone that can't give me all their dirty details. You know, like, it's just so what's the word? What word am I looking for?
Inauthentic.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to be a friend if I don't know all the details of everything. And
if you can't get messy with me, you know what? That's so fucking true. It really is though. I was actually having this chat with someone like 2 days ago about, I used to be quite close with a couple of different girls, and they both didn't really get along. One was really in her mess, and one was really perfect, sort of like had this vibe of everything is just love and light and everything is fine. And I sort of couldn't rectify that friendship. I couldn't, because I always felt like and that's the thing, but I would feel like I couldn't bring my mess into that sort of thing. Yeah. And then that made me feel I can't be myself. And then when I did, sometimes you just do. That's the goal, to be able to be yourself at all times, right? Yeah. And, talking about people pleasing, that's something that's taken me so freaking long to get on board and to understand. Oh my gosh, I have been putting on masks for every different person to suit their needs.
And this is something that we have spoken about, particularly with you. I think I'm the person that lectures you the most about that throughout the years. Sarah, like, just be you. But I think in the last few years, for me, that's been a massive lesson. Like, you know me, and you've known me for all these years. I only recently understand how much of a people pleaser subconsciously I have been. And to recognize that, I think was really, well, I don't want to say it's hard because it's a wanky thing to say, but it was hard to recognize it, understand that was me, and then decide to change it. Like, you'd always hear people say things like, no is a full sentence, or, learn how to say no, and, simple things like that were really, boundaries. I had to get hypnotized to, like, even think about adding boundaries to anything to do with my life. Yeah, and now I'm like, do you want to do it? No. Do you want to do it? No. No.
So okay with that word.
Okay with it. Yeah. I have no idea what we were talking about when that came
That's
up.
Okay. But I do remember when, and I actually do want to get back to a bit of an intro about you in a minute, because there's something I really want to point out in particular that I love about you, and this is what I want to dive into, one of the many things. But we're talking about people pleasing, and I do remember there was a conversation that we had about 6 months ago, and we hadn't spoken, as we do. We don't speak for like 8 months at a time, and then we're like, hey, what up? What are you doing? And nothing's changed, of course, because it's a true friendship. And you heard my voice and you were like, whoa, Sarah.
Oh no, you were like, oh my God, you sound so good.
Yeah, you were like, you sound so real, like for the first time in ages. And I was like, fuck, that was such a positive to hear, but also hit me really hard, because I'm like, wow, it just reminds me of, how did I get by that long doing that, when every single interaction I was stepping into, there was a part of me, a lot of it's obviously so subconscious, but you'd step into these, hey, Ruby, Ruby's joined the building.
Sorry, keep going.
But that's the thing, I just didn't trust myself enough. I didn't love myself enough. All of these things that, again, both of us in the past have gone, these are fucking cheesy things, but they've fucking helped me so much.
But everything that you're saying, there is... again, never know how to explain things, but you were the perfect example of all of that. Like, you were such an extreme, and I love you. Like, I feel like I've always had, or we've always had such a real friendship. We never needed to do that with each other, but I would watch you become whoever someone else needed you to be. I feel like, everyone can relate to that, but you were such an extreme with that. And I can't tell you how proud I was to finally see you and hear you just be you. Like, it was a huge moment.
Yeah.
For someone that's known you for so long.
That's the thing. Until now, looking back, it was like, it wasn't even an option. It wasn't even a thought going, how am I going to step into my authentic self today? How am I going to be me today? That's the thing. That's exactly right. And I know I actually spoke about this briefly in another episode, so I won't go into it too long. But when I was young, and I don't know if we've ever spoken about this, but when I was young, I was sassy as fuck. I was like the child version of you now. But I just would I would do whatever I wanted. I would literally be like, go and break up with that guy. Oh, he's just asked me out. Tell him to wait till Wednesday. Tell him to take me out to the ice skating rink on this day. Like, it was just like sass and fire. It was freaking hilarious. And basically one day this beautiful girl turned around and said, look, you're treating everyone like absolute shit. And I was treating everyone like shit. Yeah. And she basically just said, look, this is done. Like, it was my last year of primary school. So it was a very, malleable time when I'm learning all sorts of things and thinking that this is what the world's like, and suddenly someone's just put me in my place, and I went from having all the friends, all the little minions, to having no friends at all.
You went insular as well.
That's the thing. And then I overcompensated.
Exactly. So many things I was like, yeah. So
we still haven't gotten to your intro.
Story, I know, whatever. I'm Mel. So the thing that resonates with me when you start talking about that is, and against Mel. Sorry, I don't mean to talk about myself 24/7. Fucking hell.
You're fine. That's what we're here for.
I was, fucking, my shit didn't stink. I remember hearing a story, which that sounds really bad. Bear with me. I remember hearing a song. Sorry, not a story. Hearing a song. What was it? Roses. I know you like to think your shit don't stink, but lean a little bit closer.
Oh,
Roses
yeah.
Smell like poo, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that song.
Caroline.
Yeah, that. Anyway, I used to sing that all the time, and I was like, my shit don't stink. It smells like roses. I was able to get away with that personality. Even that was my true personality. But I was able to get away with that personality without being a stuck-up cow because I am not. I'm very confident and all of those things, but I was kind and giving and I really did care about people. Anyway, point of all of that is when you know me and think about me and talk about my personality was very... I drew people into me. I always had people coming to me being like, oh, how do you not care about things? How can you be so happy? How can you be... All of these things. Anyway, so I was always confident through the roof. And then trauma happened. Okay, and so your version of that trauma, someone put you in your place. For me, it was my ex. And this was only, a few years ago, something changed him. I didn't change. I think people grow, but I've never changed who I am. But all of a sudden he didn't like that. And he started telling me that I was, a shit person and that someone that I really cared about and I valued their opinion telling me, it's not that I can't handle feedback. Of course I can. But someone telling me those kind of things, because I can handle feedback, I really took them into me and I really thought every situation and scenario over so strongly to figure out is he right? Am I doing and saying wrong? Am I a bad person?
Yeah, you started to doubt yourself.
100%, exactly like this chick did for you, right? It only took one person, for whatever reason, one of the most confident people ever, and I've not, this is the first that this is coming to my brain to even converse about, so I haven't thought about what was it or, what if it was someone else? Because people would come to me all the time, they're like, I don't know, I'm making this up. No one's ever come to me like, Mel, you're not nice. But if someone did come up to me and was like, you're not a nice person, my answer would be like, you don't fucking know me. I was that confident that I'm a good person and there should be more people like me in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fuck, people are going to listen to this and be like, shut this bitch up. I hear ya.
Well, this is why I do want to cut in on one thing really quickly to just, for the truth of it, your action speaks so much louder than words, and your actions, you could say you're a fucking good person till the hills come home. That's a saying. It is now.
Why not? It is
but
now.
You are one of those people that goes above and beyond for people that you haven't met, and that's one of the things that I've always loved about you. So she's not bullshitting, guys.
Too.
She has bent herself over backwards for many people. Thank you.
I just think that you are too. That gets into another story that I want to tell. But and to wrap all of that up, the point of all of that is how sad is it that, I don't know, one piece of trauma changed all of that for you, and how many years it took to undo that is what I find really sad.
See, I love that you said that, because it's given me an opportunity to be really honest. I fucking love it. I absolutely love that happened to me. That's why I call her this beautiful person, because I love how long it's taken and how many different routes that I've gone, because now I am so aware of what not to do. And I literally feel like my life is just starting all over again. And there's obviously there's been the health side of all the fun stuff that I've been through, which I'll talk about eventually. But that sort of was like this extra like hammer on the nail. I'm really
Again,
like killing it with quotes today. I'm thinking nail in the coffin. That's the one. That's the one. And it just sort of kept getting like beaten down with all these different things. But I'm just it was like a doorway into figuring out who the fuck I am, really. And I always had her as this metric that I could look back and go, am I being that fucking asshole that demanded some girl who was, she was a sweet girl. She had to step out of her comfort zone and really stand up strong to go, this isn't okay. So that was like a big moment for her as well. But how bad was I being that she had to really do that? And it's just been, I love that moment now. Like, I've obviously done a lot of healing, a shitload of healing about it. And these moments come up a lot of times, among other ones, similar to you. I've had the fun big breakup that sort of got to the point where...
Mine or yours? Yours?
Both. Like, both of it. Where that's the thing where you start to doubt yourself. You start to get told these little messages repeatedly, whether it's subtle, whether it's little.
That is crushed.
That's the thing. And then when you sort of, and that was for me what the biggest thing was. I sort of looked at myself and went, I don't even know who I am. But I definitely know that I can't explore who I want to be or who I think I might be around this person. I don't have that space, that freedom, that safety at all. As soon as I step out of the little mold that I helped to put myself in because I wanted to play the perfect role of the perfect girlfriend. As soon as I step out of that, there's so much fear that comes out of his side, and then that bounces back off me, and then I'm ricocheting this fear around, and then I just go, you know what? It's not worth it. I'll just smile and everything's fine. Everything's back to fine.
It takes,
fuck that.
Again, I resonate with all of that very strongly. It takes so much strength, though, to change everything you've ever known. So even though you're not happy in that perfect role or whatever it is that you're playing, it's comfortable, to follow the feeling of wanting different and knowing you can get it. I mean, I don't want to get onto a weird topic, but it's very relatable to domestic violence victims. They find comfort in, even though it's painful, they find comfort in the knowing, it's better than the devil you do than the devil you don't kind of situation. So
there's so many questions and uncertainty if you're going to take that leap. And that's why both of us, I think it took us a little while to go, you know what, I am fucking worth this big chance that I need to take. Like, it's not the comfort that I'm feeling is nothing compared to the misery that's building in me when I know that I'm not being myself. And when you can't be yourself at home with your own partner, it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is just a basic. But I hadn't seen so many examples of really, truly healthy relationships, to be honest. Like, even in my friendship circles, I started to have a few of my close friends, they started to meet a couple of guys, and they were beautiful. Like, they really genuinely had these beautiful connections. The guys themselves, they were lovely. They were just genuine. They weren't putting on any facade. They weren't like, I'm acting this way in front of my new girlfriend's friends, but you can all tell I'm actually a douchebag behind the scenes. And even like one hug from one of these beautiful guys that one of my friends got together with, they're married now. And I've told them both this so many times. It was like the first time he gave me a hug. That one hug was more from a friend, was more genuine than what I was getting at home. And I was like,
I think the biggest lesson that I've learnt in that field, that side of life, whatever, it's so underrated, but best friends first. And see, I think about you and, your ex, you guys seemed like you were friends, but at the same time, I could tell from coming from what we were talking about earlier, you were being that Sarah. You were putting on the Sarah that required
I'm a chameleon. And this is the thing. And there are sides of that part of my personality will always be there. And there is a part of that that is fantastic. It's great for building rapport with people. It's great for making people feel comfortable around me. I can definitely sort of assess, and this is all very subconscious. I haven't realized it till recently, but I can sort of assess what sort of tone people want to hear. And it's actually when I started studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I started to realize that this was actually something that they taught people how to do. They teach people how to mirror and how to match other people's like body language, the tone of their voice, the way that they move their head, all of these things. I was like, well, I'm doing that naturally. That's cool. Yeah. But if it's not used for good, if it's just happening on a subconscious level and you're just putting on a mask, it's definitely not a positive. And that's the thing. I was so good at being a chameleon that we did look like the best of friends. And a lot of people said this. And of course, there were times when I thought, of course we are. But it wasn't until I started seeing really healthy versions of good friends who were also in a relationship. I was like, oh, I don't have that kind of freedom. Or, and I wasn't the perfect partner at all because I wasn't being myself. So it's not all like one person's blame either.
No. So many things that come to my brain, of course. And so as you're talking, I'm like, I'm going to say this. And then you keep talking and then I think of a new thing. So now
that's why I take notes sometimes.
The 75th thing. What was it, the last thing that you said of people?
Chameleon.
You looked like, you looked like you were friends. Oh, God, no. I'll have to come back to it. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but my dogs think it's playtime. And they're playing together. It was a good one. So it started up. The first thought that came to my brain was, have you read the book, The Game?
No.
I'll go on that first. So whatever the fuck you were talking about, but in my situation, my ex, when I first met him, he read a book called The Game. And basically it is a manipulation book.
Yeah, it's not like the don't hate the play, hate the game bullshit. Like it's based on
No. It is written by a guy named Neil Strauss, I think. Long story short, it's unraveling, I can't remember what the actual tagline is, but unraveling the pickup artists' methods or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that came to my brain when you were talking about what you were studying. Was it NLP, you were saying? Yeah. And basically he studied this book to figure out how to manipulate. I ended up being the victim of it, but manipulate women to see you with higher social value and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I knew about it, 12 years ago when I first met him. But it's not until recently that I kind of think about that further and I really understand the manipulation that happened initially.
Well, you don't believe someone could have that level of manipulation desire,
yeah,
right? So
I don't think that he desired it. It was a very selfish thing of him. He wanted very different things when I first met him, but like at that time he wanted to be a husband, to have that trophy wife and all these kind of things. Anyway, so he was on a mission to get that for himself, but long story short, it never ended up being him. You can't change someone if, you can pretend to be something for X amount of time, but it doesn't always continue. When you couple that with a narcissistic personality as well, shit like that is just in the hands of the devil. Like, anyway, there was a reason I brought that up from, again, 75 thoughts ago. Can't remember. But eventually I'll think of the next thing that I thought of that I want to get out. But yeah.
No, it'll come back, but it is so interesting. I think that both of us went through very similar situations. It was both similar time length partnership. It was over a decade. Oh, it came back.
I remember it. Something that I did, see how you were talking about, you kind of fall into that role and whatever. Yeah. So for me, I had lied to myself. Like, you were comparing your relationship to other people's. I think, and I might be wrong here, but I think it's amazing that you could look at other people's relationships and say, oh, that's not what happens for me. I couldn't. Yeah, I believed my own lie. I believed my own fantasy world that I had created. And I was so good at telling people what my relationship was like that it was all fucked up, but they believed it. Like, they believed the fantasy that I had. It was fucking perfect. And it was in my fantasy mind because I had made excuses for all the bullshit. But yeah,
that's very true, actually. You did make it seem like it was golden. And even I, at times, I was like, I think I even said to you, I'm like, does he even speak sometimes? Like,
no,
he was
he
just
didn't.
So, just
nothing.
very,
yeah.
But anyway.
And the guy did nothing. We know this, you know. But yeah, in my fantasy, I didn't do this deliberately. I don't know. I was with him for a very long time.
This is the power of the mind, right? But I think it's the power of the heart. Like, we both want to believe the best in people so badly. And because we do have that tendency to bend over backwards. We're very empathetic towards people. It's natural. It's inbuilt. It's not something you ask for or don't ask for. It's something we both have. So I don't know about you, but I find it hard to believe that anyone isn't like that. And so I get caught up a lot with people because I just genuinely believe, even if they say really shitty things, to me, I'm like, oh, well, they know they've said something shitty. They're probably going to beat themselves up for that later. I'm not going to add to that, like, poor thing or whatever. Like, I will just somehow twist it to go, they're in the right. Like, they're trying their best. And, I'm sure they are trying their best, but not everyone has the best of intentions.
No, but you know what? I don't even want to say that they don't have the best of intentions because, that's what it comes across as. But when I look at my ex, he has absolutely no emotional intelligence whatsoever. Okay, there's no connection there. He gaslit the hell out of me. He, like I said, whether I don't want to label him as a narcissist or as just very strong narcissistic tendencies, all that kind of stuff. But I look at the things that he would do and say. I cannot say he did them deliberately. Sorry, we've got Freddie as well. There's no connection there for him. Like, I have empathy. If I walked past a homeless person on the street and didn't give them money, I would be taking that with me, and I felt bad, for the people you're making excuses for, not just you, everyone and me. we think they're like us. How do they not feel that? Or I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're looking at them. They're not, because it doesn't connect for them.
And but you're spot on. It's not like a intention to be a certain way or to be manipulative or anything like that. It's just people are doing what they know, right? What
exactly,
they've been
which
modeled.
makes it even more dangerous for people like us.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think narcissistic personalities and all that kind of stuff. I know. I think a lot of the time that I find that it's spoken about, and I know nothing about this shit. This is just my own researchers' feelings, all that kind of stuff. But when I look into it, a lot of the time it's very deliberate thought about. Like narcissists deliberately try to do X, Y, and Z. In my situation, I could, sorry, my dog, this is Ruby. Come over here, baby. Come here.
Yep.
In my situations, come on, you want to say hi? Say hi, Auntie Sam.
Hey, Baba. Hello.
She was like a mummy cuddle.
The original.
No, that's Lily.
That's
Lily's
Lily,
original.
yeah.
No, this one's Ruby.
That looked like Lil. Oh my gosh, you beefed up, you little muffin.
They're all
Don't say that.
What was I talking about? I was going to say something.
Not intentional. I think you're going to say what I think, maybe, which is that narcissistic personality types always attract empathetic types.
Oh, 100%. But that's what I was going to say is the research that I find on, here comes Lily, the narcissistic personalities is that it's very deliberate. I didn't find in my particular situation that it was deliberate. Yeah. I think he's a fucking idiot and shit doesn't connect together.
But that's,
I don't think,
he's doing the best that he can. That's the thing.
Exactly. That's what he knows. So you could sit there and say that you're a narcissist, and I did. Yes, baby. But again, it's not something for that particular person. It's not something that is thought about. It's just what he knows. And who knows? He could have trauma issues from way back when, and that's his coping mechanisms that he created in his life. So he doesn't see anything wrong with it. That's
the thing. I actually heard, like, when I was looking into it myself for my own, situation, one of the biggest things that I learned was you should never tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist if you believe that they are. I know you just said that. But because of, like you're saying, it's like they don't know that they're doing this. It's literally they're functioning on a completely different wavelength. And by you telling them, it's not something they can just flip out of. Most narcissists don't recover. Even if they're going to therapy, even if they're aware of it, they still have these tendencies to treat people a certain way, to put themselves in this grandiose stance, this stature in their mind. It's just how they're built. So to tell someone is like just sending them, like, I don't know, just putting them in a horrible situation because they now can't fix it, but now they're aware and now they know that and it's kind of like this, like these mirrors all around them everywhere, but they can't do anything about it.
I was really proud of you, and I'm sorry, we'll take the topic off our relationships at some point very soon, but I was really proud of you for how you handled yours. It was, in comparison, the only thing I have to compare is my own. And when you never tell a narcissist they're a narcissist, well, I fucking did, because I didn't want it to end. I didn't want him to be. I wanted him to get better. I loved him for all stupid reasons. I was still in my own fantasy of what I had created. So there was no stone I left unturned to save him or save the relationship or save whatever it was. To the extent of telling him he's a narcissist and me stupidly thinking he's going to see it and he's going to agree and he's going to understand what I'm saying and he's going to get help and he's going to... No. But anyway, point of the story is you did so fucking well. I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you felt the pain, of course. But in comparison, like, I was fucked up for like 2 years.
That's right. I was like, really, did I? But that's right. Because you called me. There was one day that I had a bad day, and that was the day I called you. And then I think based off that, you then sort of thought, you've been in a rough place. Hey? And I'm like, babe, no, it was just that one day. Like, it was because I did all of the healing in the last year or so. I just saw it early, but I kept having that hope and that faith, and I kept going, I can make this happen, I can twist this around, and he doesn't mean to. And I genuinely have no hard feelings. If anything, it sounds like I'm just saying this, but I genuinely wish that I could hug him and just say, so much love to you, because I don't think he's done anything purposely wrong. I think he did the best that he could. We just weren't mixed in that level, and I want so much of a deeper connection with someone. I am such a fucking deep person, and I've been able to finally accept that, because so many people aren't, and so many people laugh at all those sorts of things. And it's like, no, I am so happy to be by myself as well for as long as I need to, until I actually am resonating at the right level to attract the right person who will match me, who will be able to reach this same level, and to be able to have someone who I can say, you know what, I love you. we've been together for this many years, whatever. I want a month off.
Mm-hmm.
I want that in a relationship. And I think that's actually so fucking healthy.
Yeah.
And that these are the sorts of things that would just instill so much fear in my ex and make him think, oh, she doesn't love me. And I'm like, no, it's the freaking Samantha line it's from Sex and the City. I love you, but I love me more.
I love me more.
Like, that's the thing. And I finally got to that point and I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, look at me looking after myself. I go to the gym now. I eat amazingly. I don't drink. I'm like looking after my health. Like, I'm pursuing all of the things that this person made me feel that I wasn't able to do, that I wasn't good enough to do. And I believed it for so long. So I felt shit about myself for ages. But again, that's not his fault. I chose to believe that. But wow, I'm going to have to label this episode like Narcissistic Chats. This started as something so different.
I got plenty of stories. What was I going to say? I was going to say something to what you said. I really got to write my thoughts down faster in my brain. There was something else that came to my brain. But to sum all of that up, I cannot, and it took me a long time to get to, I cannot tell you how fucking grateful I am for all of it. It was the most painful experience I have ever been through, ever in my life. Like, I've always been the happiest person in life with no fucking drama, ever.
Yeah, no.
I don't say this lightly, but I didn't want to be here.
Yeah,
I did not want to be here, and that is not said lightly. All of that, none of it matters. I'm so glad I went through it all, because
it's
grateful.
Like getting chiseled through fire. It was so amazing.
Tell me this a year ago and I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But every ounce of the experience, even the 10 wasted years, not one was wasted.
Right. That's 100% right. Yeah.
I don't have words to describe how grateful I am for the whole experience, and that I am not there anymore. You know,
yes,
best thing that could ever happen to me. But then I just thought of the other thing that I was going to. Oh, that's what I was going to say when you were talking about Samantha, Sex and the City. I have it's not a joke with myself. It's a very open joke, because I'm open. I'm like, I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to sign contracts and renew the contracts at the end of every year. And two people decide. I don't want to be with someone that isn't okay with that. Yeah, every anniversary. Okay. Exactly. I can't remember what the number is, but I don't know. Our bodies are a new body every 7 years, but I think it's like personalities or whatever it is. Again, don't quote me on these numbers.
Yeah, no, I just threw that out there.
7 I think is the body one, but you have a new life every 10 years, every decade. So you're a completely new person. And the things that I read of, and my ex and I were together for 10 years. I like to think, maybe I'm just really up myself when I think this, that I was the same person throughout that 10 years, but I wasn't. Like, I was. But I changed. My wants changed. They didn't.
I think the role that we were playing stayed the same for the 10 years, but in the background we were evolving. So at the end of the 10 years, we're like, shit, I can't play this role anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, just like treat everything. I don't know. I think relationships, everything in life is all the same as business transactions. Yeah. At the end of the day, every single thing is transactional. Everything except for the love I get from my dogs. Anyway, yes. Oh. Don't get me started.
I love that. Yeah.
I
love that, though.
Relationships. That's what I think.
I'm going to put that on a wall somewhere. That's fantastic.
I did think of that idea when I was like so anti-love. So, maybe I'll get in love and completely change, the way I think
it's fantastic. It's a review. Like, that's what is needed. It's just like, let's look at how we've been doing. What can we both change to make each other better, make ourselves better? Like, fucking fantastic.
And it's look at your relationship, and you were with him for as long as I was with mine, and that was a very long time. There's so much of emotion that gets involved that, I don't want to say this because it might upset them, or this or that. No, there's one day, once a year, that everything is on the table of, okay, I don't like that you do this, and this is what I need, and that there's no emotion taken into that conversation to renew the contract or not, and someone might want to renew it and the other one doesn't. Okay. Again, logistically, that may be a fucking nightmare. It is a great thing in my mind.
There's emotion, obviously, everywhere. So it would be really hard. But I think this is, a big part of the problem with relationships is it's been romanticized by TV and movies and companies for so long that we all think that what you're saying is like, that's fucking crazy. It's like, no, actually, that's functional and that's very smart. And that's ensuring you have the best for you and they have the best for them. And what's wrong with that? Like, it's fantastic. I fucking love this. This is going to happen.
It's the only kind of thing that I'm
manifesting this.
Moving forward. Yes.
I am manifesting. My next guy is going to be so on that level that when I tell him that we are having yearly reviews, he's going to be like, yes, girl.
Yeah, because they want, it's like, no, so many thoughts in my brain. Something that I always say to people, is if your partner, and this is something that I've had to learn recently, but I've always said it because, I do what I say and not what I do kind of thing. If your partner, A, doesn't treat you the same way as I, as your friend, treat you, no. If they don't make you feel the same way as I, as your friend, make you feel, no. No. Like, again, I have the question, but I lived the life in the complete opposite. Yeah. Why would you spend your time with someone that doesn't make you feel happy?
Yeah. Or good about yourself. Like,
yes.
you could have a really great day. You could have friends telling you amazing things about yourself. You could kick some goals, and then you could come home and you could be made to feel like absolute crap. And then you still remind yourself or convince yourself, no, this is the person who loves me most in the world. And, again, sometimes it's just a matter of, not everyone's a narcissist. Sometimes it's a matter of just stupidity. Some guys or girls, it's not just guys, it's everyone. Some people just don't recognize that their partner might need a certain level of care when they're talking about something, or a certain level of support when you're, for me as a
when
creative.
You're friends, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was
no.
Sorry. See, just that, like, when you are friends, it does not take, I don't even want to say rocket science, because it's not even that. It does not take learning the difficulty of opening and closing a fucking window to understand that, because it's not about logically thinking, I am not going to say this because, this person will, or maybe I need to. No, you just go with it. You feel like, if you're friends with someone, I feel like shit if I know that you're sad about something. And even worse, to know if I was a cause of that, like.
Yeah. And that, I think that's
going on my hair, by the way.
I love it. Insane. That's the other thing that comes into play, though, with the narcissist and empath side of things, is that the empath never wants to make the other person feel, it might not even be a narcissist, right? But the empath never wants to make that other person feel bad, because they feel bad as well, because it will eat them up more than the person. So it's like this constant need to, we're going to have to do a separate episode for all the other shit.
All I can say is not dealing with any of that shit and not thinking about it just makes me be able to breathe. And for a long time, there was no, it was, and when 100%. I can feel what it feels like to breathe in and release it, is the only way I can explain it. It feels light, feels good, feels great. There's no elephant on your chest. Anyway, next topic.
And we're out of time. No, I mean, look, there's so many things I want to talk about with you, but one thing that just is so prominent, and I don't know where exactly you're at with your business at the moment, but long story short, Mel created an amazing company called Polina Fresh, and that was gluten-free. It was absolutely anyone with an intolerance or anyone who wants to look after their body but doesn't want to sacrifice having to eat shitty tasting versions of a Lamington or of a freaking bread roll or something that tastes good. Sausage rolls, lasagna, you did everything. You tried to start simple, but
I started with what? Herbs.
The cubes, the ice cube trays, herbs in little ice cube type trays. They were, I still freaking love them. I miss them. I miss them so much.
They really are. If someone copied me, I mean, I'm probably,
of course they were going
such
to.
a good thing. Such a nothing thing, but
So wait, we haven't even explained what it is. So just quickly. So it's like, instead of minced garlic, which is full of absolute crap, and Mel cites me as one of the reasons that she started this business.
The reason I was at your house. I was at your house. How old was I? This would have been back in the 2012, 2013 days. Yeah.
You're a baby entrepreneur.
You were a baby. So I was at your house, and I don't know why, but I opened your fridge, and you had tubes of garlic. I don't know what else was in there, but the garlic was in there. I was like, why are you eating this? And you're like, oh, yeah, it's so good. I was like, no, it's full of citric acid. It's got no flavour, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I promised you, no, I'll make you something that will be good.
We should also quickly say that Mel is a very talented chef, professional chef, by the way. Shut up.
I was so disgusted in you for having these squeezer tubes in your fridge. Anyway, so I spoke, typical Mel, I spoke before I knew what the fuck I was talking about at that time. But at the time I was like, no, you just need to like mince up garlic and put it in oil. Like, what's wrong with you? Because that's what we do in restaurants, right? Anyway, did some more research on that, realized might kill someone.
Storage is an issue.
Anything grown under the ground has a really low pH level, and obviously garlic is grown under the ground. Blah, blah, blah. So if you put something like that into an oxygen-starved environment, no good. Anywho, so the only way to stop that from happening is either raising the pH level of the product or storing it below 2 degrees. Yeah, storing below 2 degrees. Anyway, so this is the kind of research I did, and I was like, fuck, I promised Sarah this thing. And anyway, so that's when
problem solved your way into
I love problem solving. Yeah.
Yes.
So in my brain is like, okay, a fridge is 1 to 4 degrees. Well, I'm not putting citric acid and all that kind of stuff. I'm not putting preservatives. It takes away flavor, all that kind of stuff. So it defeats the purpose. So I was like, my only option is, okay, well, 1 to 4 is a fridge. So if it needs to be below 2 degrees before this bacteria will grow, well, that's not going to work because the fridge can potentially be over that. So I was like, okay, well, the only thing I can do is freeze it. And then the next problem was like, okay, well, how I got to use it. I can't just like freeze it in a jar. How's someone going to get it out? Da, da, da. So then when I was a kid, we used to have fish and we used to feed the bloodworms, and like it was like little frozen cubes. And I just immediately thought of that. I was like, oh my God, I'm a genius. Anyway, I talk fast again, don't I?
Yeah, I know, I'm watching it.
I tried to find those trays, and I don't know, they didn't exist. So anyway, then I contacted some random person in China and got it manufactured, and and I gave you more than you asked for.
Polina fresh cubes. And honestly, and then she had garlic cubes, she had turmeric cubes, she had dill cubes, she had oregano, absolutely everything. This isn't even the part of the story that is fucking amazing. So that's where you started, but then you built it into this monster, and it was always, again, this comes back to you caring about people. Every time you built it was because it was answering someone's question or someone's problem. Someone would be like, well, why can't you do this? Or could you help me make this taste good? And of course, I'll figure it out, even though I'll break my back doing it and work 72-hour days. It's fine. That's a thing. And I know, and it's so beautiful, but we're still getting to the point. So you've built this huge fucking beast, which is now like a multi-million-dollar machine. And what have you done?
Way too kind.
You've hit over the mil mark.
Oh yeah.
Easily. And so now you've decided to take a bit of a break.
I'm tired, man.
And this is what I love. You've chosen purpose over profit. I fucking love that. Passion,
but it took. Sorry, coming back, people will have no idea. It's like, no, the herbs didn't get that successful because I got sidetracked because Mel got sidetracked. I created a keto bakery is the easiest way to explain it, but this is a very loose term. So essentially, I make food for people with medical problems, with no grains, starches, sugar, legumes, or seed oils. So no inflammation, all that kind of stuff. Not the point. Kind of point. So for someone that has epilepsy, Exhibit A. I want them. You're such an inspiration to like everything I do, Sarah. I want them.
I did it for you. I had seizures for you, by the way. It was for your business.
So much. People with epilepsy, I'm not laughing at you, just so you know. I'm laughing at Sarah. So I wanted them to be able to walk into wherever they wanted and be able to eat what they want to eat. So my whole purpose was like, okay, you're craving a fucking lamington? I'm going to make you a lamington with no grain, starch, sugar, legumes, or seed oils. You're craving lasagna, you're craving garlic bread, whatever it is you can possibly think of that you're craving, it is my mission to recreate that to taste exactly the way it should. And if it doesn't taste that way, then I don't make it. So I think there's a lot of things that added to, I don't want to say the success, but...
I do. Because, hey, I saw you build it, and I saw how much work you put into it, and it became extremely successful. You went and bought yourself a massive facility, like a warehouse. You had a fridge that was the size of true. Anyway, stop talking yourself down. No, I love this. I love how real you are. But anyway, the point of it is, and I'm going to link people to all of the sites, anything that you want them to sort of go towards. But what I love is that you've gotten to a point where you've got people wanting to buy this company, you've got people wanting to work with you, wanting to franchise it, wanting to do all sorts of things, and you chose your health, your body, your mentality. You wanted to take a break, because I haven't seen you stop since that fucking garlic cube day. And even before that, you were working as a full-time chef. You were also doing that Southern Cross Asteria?
Oh, yeah. They're closed down now anyway. No, it's just a job.
But I mean, you were a sales rep. You were jumping around everywhere, constantly working your ass off. And then you started this business, and then you started really, really working. And every day you were learning new things. And so it was this huge thing that you created. And a lot of people would have freaked out and gone, well, I can't leave it now. I'm now attached to this thing. And no matter what happens, I have to do it. And even if I feel like shit, that's fine. The money is worth it and all of that sort of stuff. And you have looked after yourself first. And there's good things coming from it.
Honestly, though, like, you're way too nice about that, because I run myself into the fucking ground for years. I always say that, if I was to, open back up or start again or do something else, I would do it so different. So many points that you mention that I'm like, I'm not that good, in the sense of I was so emotionally attached to that business. It was my fucking baby, not just because it was my baby. I care about the customers. To make the decision to have time off did not come lightly. There was a lot of things that had to come into play or into alignment for me to make that decision, but it was the only decision I could make. I honestly was never diagnosed with anything, because I don't go to doctors or anything like that, but I was that skinny that I'm surprised I still got my period. If I do something, I don't do it half-assed, and if I commit to something, it's like, this podcast you asked me about the other day. No, we committed to this day. I will tell you that I'm running late and I've got a million things to do, but no, we're doing it. It doesn't matter. I make a promise, because at the end of the day, I'm so integrity driven that if I say I'm going to do something and, I don't do it, that's my integrity. Anyway,
I love
it
that.
was a very hard decision emotionally to say, no, I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
But I had to. It was, I'm going to die.
Yeah. No, and that's it. Like, sorry if I made it sound like you didn't care or anything, because honestly,
no,
I know. The relationship between you and your clients is so beautiful. I mean, some of them were even
I love them.
proposal,
I love
and
my
like
customers.
that's the thing. They're like really, they become family. They
are family.
You make friends everywhere you go. What are you doing with your neighbor now? You were telling me about your neighbor. She's
my
working
God,
for you or something. She's like,
no. Well, she was for a while. Yeah, but Hannah, so my neighbor, oh my God, she's the best thing in the world. She's 71. She climbs mountains. Like I say every day, she'll be like, Mel, no, I don't. She maybe climbs them like, I don't know, every second day. She is. And so after this podcast, so like the list of things that I had today was like, oh my God, it's such a busy day. I've got to do this, and then I got a podcast with Sarah. And then, Hannah's got her new phone, so I need to go over there and set that up for her and da-da-da. Hannah's amazing. I don't know what the point of bringing up Hannah was. Yeah, she's my new, she's my best friend.
The point is that what you just explained there, that's how it seemed from an outside perspective, that you have that sort of relationship with almost every single customer of yours. You seriously do. So it wasn't a light decision. And I just want to say, Mel is not someone who calls and asks for help or for advice, ever. And this was the one time you did. You called me and you were in a bit of a bad way and you were like, I just need to talk this out because this is a big decision. And I'm just so proud of you, because it would be fucking scary, not just the emotional connection, attachment side of it, but it's a beast that you've built, you know what I mean? And so no matter where it goes, I know it's going to go somewhere positive, but like even if you jump back in, but anyway.
We will, but I just need to make note. Oh my God, something was like outside my window. I'm like, what the fuck was that? It was nothing. Don't worry. It was. I was like, what was that? How did I over the fence? I just want to make note, you mentioning that, Mel is someone that doesn't ask for anything. You are right. I've never asked anything of anyone ever in my life. And I've told you this story before. There is millions of reasons, but one reason that I hold you so high.
Stop.
Every single person, everyone knows this. If you know me, then you know this story about Sarah. So never in my life.
You made me cry. It's all good. It's all good.
Never in my life have I ever asked anything of anyone. I don't. I only know how to do things myself. So every single thing I know I can always look back, which isn't the right way. When I say I'll do things differently, it's asking for help. But it was such a strong thing. For what fucking trauma reason it caused, I don't know. But it was such a strong thing for me. I do shit myself. But there was one time I had to move house, and everyone, my best friend of 17 years, everyone knew I was moving an entire house myself that included a commercial gym while my partner is away for 6 months, finding a new house, running a company, having 2 dogs in a house that I wasn't allowed to. So dealing with people trying to look at the house, all this shit. Like I had that much going on, and I was already like a size 6 at this point. So I was very skinny because I was working so much. Anyone asked me, I don't even think anyone asked if, can I do anything for you? Because they just know me and, you know, I always say no. However, the first time in my life, I would have been, 26, 27, 28? 2018 it was. So I was 27, turning 28. You and Dave obviously would have called and see how I was and whatever. Oh, no, I'm all good. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. I was fucking like wanting to die. It's so much shit going on. You and Dave rocked up at my house, unannounced, I think, with moving boxes and tape and bubble wrap and all the things that I said, yeah, no, I'm all good. I have to move in like a week and I haven't packed a thing. But no, don't stress. I don't need anything. I'm all good. Thank you so much. You rocked up at at the time for my life, one of the hardest times that I was going through in that moment. You saw through my fucking bullshit and you helped me. I never asked for it, and if anything, it made me feel so uncomfortable. Normally, when someone does anything for me, I'm like, no, because again, that's another trauma.
Now let me cook you 5,000 cakes to say thank you.
Yes, right? I can't take. I feel very uncomfortable to take, and fuck, that's a whole nother podcast. But the first time in my life, someone saw, this is how I explain it, someone saw through my bullshit and helped me. That was you. Like, all you did, according to you, I just bought you some fucking moving boxes. My God. You have no idea what that was.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
No, you didn't just buy me some fucking moving boxes. I had that many things going on at one time. And again, my best friend of 17 years, where the fuck was she? Not helping. Nowhere. You know, you, someone that I speak to once in, depends on us, like we'll either speak 1,000,001 times in a week or we haven't spoken in a year. But you didn't know all the shit I had going on, but you saw through my shit, and I can't tell you how fucking, it's not the fact that that actually was so helpful, because when you brought it, I was like, oh, thank God. Like it was that helpful, but the fact that you didn't believe me, you didn't listen to me, and you helped me. Like you were the first person in my life that's ever helped me. And you bought me moving boxes, like you and Dave, you know? Yeah. Anyway,
well,
to me, you're up here because you bought me some boxes. But I think that's friendship.
100%. And that's the thing. I've finally, 2020 was massive for me, not because of COVID, because that's when I started having seizures and I started my health decline for 3 years. I could barely do anything. And that was one of those things that I could barely do was drink. I couldn't drink anymore. So guess what happened? A lot of my social circles suddenly disappeared. And I was like, oh, okay, that's right. That was what that was all based around. Okay. So I got the chance to discover who my true friends were. I always knew that you were one of my true friends, but I cherish the fact that, like you said, we can talk 101 times in 1 week or not for like 8 months or something, but nothing ever changes at all. It's literally like the same exact feeling every single time. I can always be myself, and I only have a very small amount of you peoples in my world now. I have like a handful of really solid friends, and I would take 1 or 2 of you type over 50 of the other type any single day. And I always,
how old do we feel saying these things?
I know, right? But I do hope that people check in on their friendships a lot these days and just sort of go, and hopefully, with the whole COVID thing, everyone sort of had to isolate for so long that maybe they came back and realized who their true friends were. I don't know. But hopefully people aren't just still going out for the sake of going out and having fake conversations that don't actually serve them and talking about rubbish. Like, hopefully you can just surround yourself with people that you can just really be yourself around.
And I hope so too, but something that, again, I haven't thought about this before I say it, but something that I'm really, pushing away from at the moment is social media. And I spent a lot of time on social media because of the business, and, essentially the whole business is around social media and creating friendships and relationships with my customers and all that kind of stuff. And they are all genuine, don't get me wrong, but, and I'll talk fast because I know you've got to go to the gym soon. I don't like the superfluous friendships caused by social media and being so available. It's not just social media, it's my phone. People I don't like texting. Yeah. Back in the day when I was younger, I'd be like, oh my God, just text me. I don't want to speak to anyone. Now, no, call me. Like, I don't want to. Everything is so fake. Fake is probably the wrong surface.
Well,
you
also,
see what's going on with everyone constantly, and there's no actual connection, and like delving in and chatting like this. Sorry, go.
Yeah. No, but you're right. And it's true. And even with texting, it gives you a chance to think and edit what you're going to say rather than to just go, I'm feeling like this, blah, 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 and let it out and go, oh, I've just like revealed another part of myself that I didn't know I would.
Exactly. It's only something that I realized, I don't know, maybe in the last 6 months. I probably realized it earlier, but I didn't, I don't know, put it all together as to what it was that I was feeling. But I think, to sum it up, I don't like the disconnection being connected causes. That makes sense.
Disconnection being
connected causes. Like, we're all so connected that we're disconnected. So on one side of things, everyone knows everything going on in your life, but no one knows how you feel. No one knows what's actually going on in your life.
Yeah.
You know? And when we first started talking in this, today's podcast, for some reason I brought up the fact that I don't want to be friends with people that I don't know their warts and all, and they can't tell me their warts and all. They're holding something back. There's a guard, there's a wall. I just think it's a waste of a conversation, a waste of a friendship, a waste of time, and that's just me. That might serve someone else's purpose. It doesn't serve mine. It's I want to lay it all out, and this is who I am. Love me or not, I'll do anything for you. But it's the same thing with I don't want to put anything on my social media. I don't want to be on social media, and it sounds very isolating and almost depressing, but it's not. Like, I find it, which is funny because I know you went through this a few years ago and you completely took yourself off social media.
2.5 years.
Yeah, which is huge. And now you're back on it. How do you feel from that? Because I'm going through the stage of wanting to retreat. Not just through social media, mine is phone as well. Like, I don't call me and I'll answer if I've saved your number, which is rare. But texting wise, I'm like, obviously there's certain things of like, oh yeah, okay, what time's the podcast? Yep, sweet, blah, blah, blah. But if I haven't spoken to someone in a while, like you and I'll text you, hey babe, haven't spoken to you, are you okay? What's going on? Or you'll text me, whatever it may be. That's just a check-in, sure. But very soon after that, there will be a phone call and we're on the phone for an hour.
Yeah.
That's the kind of friendships that I like. I don't want to be included in the world of surface level connection.
No, 100%. And like, okay, so obviously the camera is not fucking working. That's okay.
Oh, you're welcome. I was like, I'm just going to ignore and keep talking. Oh yeah, I see something.
It looks like it's working, but it's not like giving me any light. But I love your question. So I'm still trying to adjust this camera, but it's not happening. About how is it coming back to social media now? Because, we're coming back to life, guys. We're coming back to life. Sorry about that. So really, really good question. I fucking loved being off social media. It was like just having a comfy blanket around me every day. Leery is, yes, new word.
Yes.
Leery is.
Leery.
Because you genuinely start to realize, am I going to take a photo of that for me? Am I doing this for someone? Am I walking around on my walk where I'm trying to calm down from my day of work and all I'm thinking of is a quote that I could put up, and who would that impress, and who would think this about me, and who would think that about, and you're literally living in that world like so often. So I have to say, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of being back. I'm really not. I have understood that with the work that I want to do, I need to be. It is something that goes hand in hand. So because of that, I have had to make so many restrictions for myself, so many boundaries that are healthy for my own mental health, so I'm not thinking about it all the time. So for starters, I don't touch my phone for the first 3 hours when I wake up. So I have 3 hours of whatever I want. I do my amazing morning routine. I go to the gym. I am in such a positive state that by the time I put my phone on, it's, even if there was something negative on there, it wouldn't bring me down. I've like done the work to bring myself to the place I want to be. And then I have certain times in the day where an alarm will go off, and that's my reminder to post something, because I need to post a couple of times a day to sort of create a little bit of a community, which is what I want to create, and to promote the podcast. Obviously, I want people to hear these conversations and gain something from it if they can. But then I also have to, at night, I have to turn it off at about 7. I put it on airplane mode. So some nights I push that back to 8, but that's rare. So it's like from 7, it's airplane mode. Not even anyone could get me, even if it was emergency, which is pretty shitty, but that's what I do at this point in my life.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I was about to say, no, there's a trick for that, but not on airplane. Yeah.
Not on airplane. It's like the ultimate. It's like the way that I feel like I don't have a phone. It's like me going, I am officially non-contactable for anyone. So obviously there's a part of me that's like, there's a chance that I could open my phone 3 hours after I wake up the next morning and realize something horrible's happened to someone, but I can't live in that state. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can't live in fear. So I'm doing this for me. And also if I go for walks, I will put it on. If I need my phone, because I love listening to audiobooks when I go for a walk, I will, again, put it on Do Not Disturb. So I can't even feel if it vibrates because it's constantly fucking vibrating. There's constantly little notifications coming through. And I want to focus on this book. So I want to make sure that the phone's in like a pocket that's not even close to me, like maybe on my leggings, it's like down there or something. And and I'm just walking and listening to the book. And but I'm not a huge fan.
I get it. And I don't want to say I feel sorry for you. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but I wish you could have stayed off for you. Like, because I am searching to not, all I can think about is like, give me a fucking Nokia 3310 or a 5110, even better.
That would be amazing. You would have Snake again.
I know, but you know what's something that I had an epiphany? I don't know if I'm right when I say this. This was just an epiphany that I had maybe a week or so ago. Motherfucking Apple.
Uh-oh.
And probably everyone else. But motherfucking Apple. Okay, one problem that I have is I want a phone that I don't have to have on me. I want a phone that's loud enough that I can be in the backyard and I can hear my phone ring if it was needed. I mean, there's a problem with that, and it rings so fucking often these days, so I'm not like running in and out, right? But not the point. It's like I don't need to be thinking about, I need to go check my phone. So therefore, it always has to be on you, because iPhones, and I don't know about Samsung, I've always had an iPhone, the volume doesn't go up that high. Surely they did that deliberately.
Wait, so iPhones don't go up that high, or Samsung doesn't?
Oh, I don't know about Samsung, but iPhones don't, like, the volume doesn't go up very high. I'm just screenshotting something on my phone. But I truly believe, again, I'm speculating here, this is just me and my brain thoughts of the shit that I think about. You motherfuckers, you did that deliberately, so I have to keep my phone on me to aid the addiction. You know,
and it is an addiction. It's a dopamine hit. It's the same as cocaine. It's the same exact chemical reaction in your body.
Same as sugar.
Amazing. That's
exactly
the thing.
Same as sugar.
And honestly, thank you for saying sugar over cocaine, because I believe that's the bigger villain here. I really, really do believe that is the bigger villain. I overcame the coke thing. I was fine to get over that. Sugar took me until about 2 months ago, and you'll be so fucking proud of me, woman.
Really?
That was. Well, I mean,
I'm proud of you every day. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, just be proud. Just be blanket proud. But basically, I went through so many different phases, like ever since being single again and all sorts of things. But chocolate was always my comfort zone. It was always my like safe space. It was always like my escape. So if I'd have a long day, a hard day, whatever kind of day, it doesn't matter. It was like my reward at the end is chocolate, and that's the sort of pattern that I'd built up in my own fucking fantasy mind, thinking, it's a reward. I didn't, we all know the horrible side effects. We all know the things it does to our body. It's a piece of shit. But the mental side, the depression, but like it was definitely clarity, scattered, being unable to make decisions, being unsure of myself, being completely defeatist mentality, victim mentality, and going into these bouts of depression. And this was what always held me back from doing my purpose work, from creating a business for myself, from creating anything. And you and I have worked together in the past on some things, and you've seen this side of me where it's kind of like this, she just sort of gives up. Like there's this mentality that comes in and I go, and that's what chocolate was doing to me. And I didn't realize how direct that link was until I finally got it out of my system. And then I had a little bit more. 2 days later, I'm completely depressed. I mean, for the next 2-3 days, I'm completely depressed. And I tested it a couple of times. I'd have another month off. Have a little bit. Next couple of days, I'm completely depressed. I'm like, oh my gosh. So now that's what I do not have it for. And it's given me the complete like consistency to be able to follow through on the things that I want to do. That's why I'm finally making some action. It's blowing my mind.
I'm proud of you. Change your diet, you'll change your life.
Honestly, she's only been saying that to me for like 50 years.
Yes!
Just sunk
my
in.
fucking God. And that's why I'm like, I'm not even joining in and be like, oh my God, because I've already done these conversations with you, Sarah.
Yeah, so
but no, I'm
many
proud
times.
of you. Good job.
It took such a long time.
I'm glad that it's not I'm so glad that like, oh, you listened to me. No, you didn't listen to me. You listened to your body.
Yeah, I had to do it my way. I had to learn
Yeah.
to complete like breakdowns, basically. It was like every time that I've gotten sick or something bad's happened, more bad habits have shed. And chocolate was the last big bad habit that I had. And it was, you know...
Oh, and don't get me wrong, like I can go on a tangent about it's not just chocolates there. Let's go into inside your body. It's all ready to go. We can go on.
Can we do another episode on that? Actually, that would be great. Yeah, a whole separate episode.
I'm proud of you.
Cheers, my love. Thank
you. You need to go to the gym, babes.
Yeah,
Get your ass there.
I do need to go to the gym. Well, thank you so much for your time. I love you. And that was a fun chat. Fuck, we went all over the place. Love it.
I don't know how long we were on there, but...
Mwah.